Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for joining us. Today, we will be discussing the qualities and activities of Ambarish Maharaj. Our speaker today is an initiated disciple of His Holiness Bhakticharu Swami Maharaj. He's currently serving in ISKCON Ujjain. He started his career as a software engineer and later joined the Krishna consciousness movement full-time. His YouTube channel serves as a humble endeavor to share the teachings through his in-person and online classes, spreading Krishna consciousness to the general masses. On behalf of ISKCON Bhagavat Mahavidyalaya of North America, I would like to welcome our today's renowned speaker, His Grace Krishna Kishore Prabhu. Prabhuji, you may now take over the call. You have to unmute, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So I'm very grateful to all devotees and especially ISKCON Bhagavat Mahavidyalaya. And I was fortunate to be part of the D-Land project, and it is very nice that ISKCON Mahavidyalaya has made the American headquarters in D-Land. So very wonderfully different courses are being conducted. Especially last year when I was there, I saw the Bhakti Shastri course, very nicely arranged, and so many devotees participated on site. And there are also many offline courses. So very grateful. So today we will be discussing on the qualities of Ambarish Maharaj. As we know that the Lord displays different qualities through different devotees. He doesn't like to be glorified himself without his devotees. Lord is never alone. He is always with his devotees. So when we glorify Lord, that means we are also glorifying his devotees. If we see different scriptures, Lord's dealings with devotees are being glorified. Even we see in the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would personally go every day to Gadadhar Pandit at Tota Gopinath temple. And every day he would hear glories of his devotees from Gadadhar Pandit, especially characteristics of Dhruv Maharaj and characteristics of Prahlad Maharaj. So these qualities of devotees are very, very important for us to know. Because we didn't come to Krishna consciousness to become God. We came to Krishna consciousness to become devotees. So when we come to know about the glories of devotees, we get inspired to follow that path. We get inspired to imbibe the same qualities in us. So one day we can also become a flower like Vaishnava who can be offered in the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, discussing, understanding the qualities of devotees is very, very important. Srimad Bhagavatam is dealing with so many devotees. There is description about the Pandavas, the description about Kunti Maharani, the description about Brajavasis, the description about so many wonderful devotees of the Lord. And one such devotee is Ambarish Maharaj. We know how Srimad Bhagavatam is taking us step by step in our understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam is Lord himself. After Krishna went back to his abode, Srimad Bhagavatam has arisen like a sun to give direction to the people in this Kali Yuga. So we also read many times how this is the deity of Lord. Different cantos of Lord is actually different limbs. Different cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam is different limbs of the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like the first two cantos are considered to be the feet of Lord. Now what we do with feet? We stand on feet. So all philosophy which is needed to stand in a spiritual life, to stand in Krishna consciousness is given in the first two cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then the third and fourth canto are the thighs of Lord. Now, thighs give the extra support to stand. So it starts with description of Hiranyaksha, who want to enjoy without Krishna, who want to enjoy without the shelter of the Supreme Lord. So third canto gives an idea that how person can start his life with Nirishwarvad Sankhya, which is wanting to enjoy without Krishna, but he ultimately reaches to Ishwarvad Sankhya, that is enjoy with Krishna or enjoy in service to Krishna. That is teachings of Kapil Dev. So it starts with Hiranyaksha, but it ends on Kapil Dev. Actually, servant enjoys even more than master. One time there was the anniversary program of ISKCON, and devotees made a big cake for Srila Prabhupada to cut. Srila Prabhupada cut the cake in front of all the devotees, and because there was some kirtans, the cake had to be carried inside. So later on, when Prabhupada went in, he saw his servant was helping himself and he was eating the cake. So Prabhupada said, just see, the master enjoys little bit and servant enjoys so much more. So actually servant enjoys more than the master if he cooperates with the master. In the same way, our Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us that, okay, you want to enjoy, you want to live in this world, you can live in cooperation with the Supreme Lord. So that was the third canto. Then we come to the fourth canto, where we learn how to act for the pleasure of Krishna. Like we see, Dhruva Maharaj comes to Krishna in distress. He comes to Krishna for getting opulence, but eventually he gets purified. Prachini Bharishat, Prithu Maharaj, there's so many wonderful examples of how to engage one's activities in Krishna consciousness. We can call it Karma Yoga. That how Prithu Maharaj, he was ruling the kingdom, but he was ruling kingdom for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Then we come to the fifth canto. Fifth canto is considered to be the belly of the Lord. And in Damodar Ashtakam, we sing, Tadi udarayatha vishwasya dhamane. My dear Lord, your belly is the resting place for all planetary systems. So we pray to the Lord that your belly has all planetary systems. So in fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is belly of the Supreme Lord, is dealing with different planetary systems. So there is description of different planetary systems. There are so many cosmology and different things in fifth canto. And we also read prayers of different devotees of Lord in these planets. Then sixth canto is dealing about bhakti, how there is no qualification needed for bhakti. This is the subject matter of sixth canto. It is Krishna's chest. We see that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells that if you take my shelter, you can overcome Maya. And our acharyas have told that when Krishna is telling that, he is putting his hand on his chest and saying, I am there for my devotees. My devotees don't need to worry. So sixth canto, which is dealing with this bhakti, is teaching us there is no pre-qualification required to practice devotional service. Like Ajamil practiced devotional service. Had no qualification. He was sinful throughout his life. But just by calling out name of his son, Lord protected him. Or we see Vritrasur, apparently externally being in the body of a demon, but still Lord considered him as a very dear devotee. Then seventh and eighth cantos are considered to be Lord's arms. What we do with our arms, what we do with our hands, we give and take. That's the functioning of our arms. So in seventh and eighth canto, we see how Lord is giving and taking. Like Lord Nishinga takes power from demons and give it to Prahlad. Mohini incarnation takes nectar from the demons, giving it to demigods. Vamandev taking the kingdom of Bali Maharaj. Like that, give and take. So many pastimes of give and take. Then we come to the ninth canto. which is the topic of discussion today. Ninth canto is the neck of the Lord. What is the functioning of neck? Face moves in the direction where neck moves. Somebody asked that if husband is the head of family, what is wife? Wife is neck, because wherever neck moves, the head should move. So the lady of the house is considered to be the neck. So anyway, this ninth canto is leading us to enter into the 10th canto. Therefore, ninth canto is named by Srila Prabhupada as liberation. And Prabhupada did say, those who will study these 9 cantos, they will get liberated. And then they get right, or then they get qualification, or better word is, then they get mercy to enter into the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the beautiful smiling face of Krishna. So therefore, this 9th canto is very, very important. It gives us access to what it means to be a devotee. See, if we want to enter into any country like, say, United States of America, we must have proper qualification. We must have proper idea what to do in that country. Like, we should know the etiquette of that country. We should know how people behave in that country. We should know the language of that country. Then only we can go to that country and we can communicate. In the same way, when we talk about the spiritual world, we must understand what it takes to enter into the spiritual world. How people in the spiritual world, or how devotees in the spiritual world interact. How devotees in the spiritual world speak. We hear in Brahma Samhita, Kathaganam Natyam Gamanam. There nobody speaks. Every word is a song. Every word is singing. There nobody walks. Their walking is dancing. So if we want to enter into the spiritual world, we must prepare ourselves. What are the qualifications of devotees who stay in the spiritual world? Therefore, discussing the qualities of devotees are very, very important. Today, we are not going to talk about the pastime of Amrish Maharaj, because I am sure all devotees already know. And also, we had a session by Pran Govinda Prabhu, I guess, already on this. But we are going to discuss about the qualities of Amrish Maharaj. What it takes for Amrish Maharaj to become Amrish Maharaj. How he became so endearing to the Lord. What were the qualifications? That Lord was so favorable on Amrish Maharaj that he also rejected somebody like Durvasa. If we say from Varnashram, Durvasa was a renunciate and Amrish Maharaj was a householder. If we see from external engagements, Durvasa was always engaged in chanting and always glorifying, or in the ritualistic ceremonies. And here Amrish Maharaj was engaged. Yes, he was engaged in devotional service, but apparently his time was shared with so many other responsibilities also. So externally, if we see, Durvasa should have received more preference, but Lord even gave up on Durvasa, and Lord took Ambarish in his shelter. So what were that qualities that attracted Supreme Personality of Godhead towards Ambarish? Yes, we say mercy is causeless, but when we try with our endeavors to attract that mercy, Lord becomes more favorable on that devotee. So let us enter into these qualifications of Amrish Maharaj. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, chapter 4, verse 15 and 16, where Shukdev Goswami is narrating the pastime of Amrish Maharaj, but he is also starting with glorifying the qualities of Amrish Maharaj. Verse 15 and 16. Shri Shuka Vacha Ambarisho Mahabhaga Sapta Dipavatim Mahim Avyayam Cha Shriyam Labdhva Vibhavam Chatulam Bhuvi Menekti Durlabham Punsam Sarvam Tat Swapna Samstutam Vidwan Vibhava Nirvanam Tamo Vishati Yat Puman. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Sukhdev Goswami said, Maharaj Amrish, the most fortunate personality, achieved the rule of the entire world consisting of 7 islands and achieved inexhaustible, unlimited opulence and prosperity on earth. Although such a position is rarely obtained, Amrish Maharaj did not care for it all, for he knew very well that all such opulence is material. Like that which is imagined in a dream, such opulence will ultimately be destroyed. The king knew that any non-devotee who attains such opulence merges increasingly into material nature's mode of goodness. So such opulence in the material world are actually a burden on the conditioned soul. Just imagine somebody is drowning, and if you put a golden crown over him, he will drown faster. In the same way, more opulence in the material world means more entanglement in the material world. But when same opulence comes to the devotee of Lord, then he engage that opulence in the service of Lord. Maharaj Amrish has such fortune. The word used is Mahabhaga, extremely fortunate. Why he was extremely fortunate? Because he was Krishna's devotee. Material world has so many examples in the history where people were extremely powerful. There were kings who ruled over whole planet. There were kings who were so powerful and they were so influential that they could rule different countries. They were conquerors. They were big poets, artists. There were so many influential people in the world. But until and unless they were not devotees, their opulence fears was finished as soon as they left their bodies. But Amrish Maharaj was Mahabhaga. He was most fortunate because he was a devotee of Lord. And when one becomes a devotee of Lord, Krishna is by his side. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shrir Vijayo. He will always be victorious because Krishna is by his side. So he's Mahabhaga. Tapta Dvipa Mahim. He was the controller of the 7 continents, unchallenged. Nobody was challenging the authority of Amrish Maharaj. We see even Hiranyakashipu, who did thousands of years of austerities, and he got so many boons, all possible permutation and combinations. I won't die like this, I won't die like that. And he was so powerful. This Hiranyakashipu was expecting worship from the whole world. But look at him, what happened? His own son is not ready to accept his authority. Little 5-year-old boy, Prahlad, challenges his authority. My dear father, the king of the demons, you are stuck in the blind well of household life. If you really want to benefit yourself, go to Vrindavan and worship Hari. Look at him. 5-year-old boy is not listening to him. Sometimes, we get some walnuts or something and we try to break the shell and it doesn't break. We become very angry. Why it's not breaking? In the same way, Hiranyakashipu tried everything with Prahlad. He threw him under the in the cliff. He threw in front of the elephants. He threw in front of the snakes. What not he did. But his son, his 5-year-old son, is not ready to accept his authority. That is the challenging situation in the material world. We see another example of Indra in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where everybody in each village would offer their worship to Indra so that they get rains. But little boy Krishna, 7 years old, he challenges the authority of Indra and he stops worship of Indra. What kind of experience Indra had? So long he was being worshipped and suddenly everything is stopped. So this is material world. Nobody can have unchallenged authority. Even in temples we see sometimes there are some people who never listen to their authority. Or we see in congregations, there are some people, they're always so notorious. But in Amrish Maharaj's case, his authority was unchallenged. Saptadepa Mahim. He has influence on all 7 islands. Avyayam Shriyam. And he was extremely beautiful. Sometimes on Zoom, when we connect with our phone and we have difficulty in hearing, we bring our camera closer, and it happens, sometimes this Zoom video may focus on our nose, or sometimes our cheeks, or sometimes some part of our body, some ear, and it looks so ugly because we may feel we are very beautiful, but when we zoom in, it's not very pleasurable thing to see. But Amrish Maharaj was extremely beautiful, not just externally, but by heart, he was extremely beautiful. Vibhavam cha atulam bhuvi, and he has unimaginable opulence. This was Amrish Maharaj's external qualities. At the same time, because he had all this opulence, he didn't become proud. He considered everything as useless if it is not engaged in Krishna's service, which is described in the next verse. Vasudeve Bhagavati Tadbhakteshu cha sadhusho prapto bhavam param vishwam yanedam loshtravat smritam. Maharaj Amrish was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva and of the saintly persons who are Lord's devotees. Because of this devotion, he thought of entire universe as being as insignificant as a piece of stone. Very important point. Amrish Maharaj was not just devotee of the Supreme Lord, but also devotee of the saintly devotees of the Supreme Lord. It's very important. He is Kanishta, Jahara Komal Shraddha, Sei Kanishta Jan. Krame Krame Teno Bhakta Hoive Uttam. The Kanishta Adhikari has very little faith, and he can only manage with that faith to believe in Supreme Personality of Godhead, but not his devotees. But as one advances in his spiritual life, he realized the devotees' importance. He starts realizing how devotees are also important. Or in fact, devotees are more important, because ultimately our fortune has been created by devotees. Imagine if Srila Prabhupada would not have started ISKCON, where we all would be. There may be few devotees who may be already, chanting Hare Krishna, but most of us, we got this mercy by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. He would often asked, Prabhupada was often asked, devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what was our qualification that we received this Krishna consciousness? And Prabhupada said, you had no qualification. I created your fortune. One time when Srila Prabhupada it was the initial days of ISKCON, and he was living in 26 Second Avenue. He requested a young boy to shift with him. And this young boy told, Swamiji, why I would stay with you in this small place where I had a big apartment of my own. So I want to be independent. I want to live in my apartment. Prabhupada said, okay, no problem. That night when he was resting in his apartment, early hours of morning, he heard cracking sound. And when he saw his roof was about to fall, so he ran for his life. And when he ran for his life, in a few minutes, his roof collapsed and his apartment was completely demolished. So he came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, can I stay with you? Prabhupada said, what happened? Yesterday I asked you, but you wanted to live in your apartment. So this boy said, actually this morning what happened? My roof collapsed and my apartment is completely in mess. I can't stay there. Can you allow me to stay with you? Prabhupada said, welcome, please come. I prayed last night to Krishna that he takes away your apartment so that you can stay with me. So Prabhupada created fortune for this devotee. Prabhupada created this luck for this devotee. He was not very keen, but Prabhupada did. So Amrish Maharaj was not only devotee of the Supreme Lord, but Amrish Maharaj was also devotee of the devotees of the Supreme Lord, servant of the servant. This is what we have to look. Our vision should be very, very clear, that this entire universe is insignificant without the mercy of the Lord. Prema bina vyarth daridra jivan. This entire universe is insignificant, as this verse describes, as a piece of stone without the association of devotees, without the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Like imagine a young child going in some fair with his father, and this child is very, very excited. He looks at different objects in the fair, he wants to enjoy there. But if somehow he leaves the hand of father, then he becomes completely, morose. The fair is same, everything is same, but he doesn't like anything now because he left his father. In the same way, Ambarish Maharaj would consider everything useless if it is not engaged in Krishna's service. And if there is opportunity to engage anything in Krishna's service, devotee is very excited. Like we don't worship Krishna in just our emotions. No, we worship Krishna with whatever best is possible. That is called Yukta Vairagya. Whatever best is possible, we'll offer it to Krishna. So in previous verse, we heard how Ambrish Maharaj was the king of the 7 continents, and he engaged everything in Krishna's service. That is true detachment. Dry renunciation won't work. True renunciation is engaging everything in Krishna's service. One time, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was giving a lecture on renunciation. And when he was giving a lecture on renunciation, the disciples were so impressed, and they were so touched that yes, we should become renunciates, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liked renunciation. Mahaprabhur Bhaktagan Vairagya Pradhan, Jahan Dekhi Preet Han Gaurav Bhagavan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes very much pleased by seeing the renunciation of his devotees. So these devotees are very inspired. But in the middle of lecture, a monkey came. And a monkey came and took some bananas which were kept on the table of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. As this monkey took the banana, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati started chasing the monkey. He took his stick in his hand and he tried to get back the banana from monkey. Disciples were thinking that, oh, little while ago, our Guru Maharaj was talking about renunciation, and look at Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He's fighting with this monkey to get the banana back. So when ultimately he got the banana back, disciples asked Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj, how to understand this? You just spoke on renunciation and you are fighting with this monkey for a banana? Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, this is not my property. This banana is supposed to be offered to Krishna. And for Krishna's service, I'm ready to fight. For Krishna's service, I'm ready to do anything. It's not my property. It is Krishna's property. Similarly, when Srila Prabhupada went to Allahabad in Kumbh Mela, and there were so many devotees accompanying Srila Prabhupada because they were opportunity to preach. These devotees were seeing Kumbh Mela for the first time. And they were seeing these big, big sadhus, big leaders of different spiritual movements coming on chariots, somebody's coming on elephant. So these devotees were very attracted. And devotees went to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, we saw how different religious leaders come on elephants. And we also want to arrange elephant for you so that we can take you on elephant on procession. Prabhupada said, no, that is not our parampara. If you arrange an elephant, we will keep Radha Krishna on elephant and we'll take around Radha Krishna on the procession. So that is a devotee. He engages everything in Krishna's service, and therefore the material nature doesn't affect him. And then this very famous verse comes, how Amrish Maharaj engages everything in Krishna's service. Sa vai manah Krishna padara vindayor vachansi vaikuntha gunarna varnane karau harer mandir marjanadishu shrutim chakarachyuta shatkathodaya mukunda linga lidarshane drishau tadbhritya gatra sparshi anga sangamam granam cha tatpad saroj saurabhe Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite Padau Hare Kshetra Padanusarpane Shiro Rishikesh Padabhivandane Kamam Chadasye Natu Kama Kamaya Yathottama Shloka Janashrayarati. Very wonderful verse. Maharaj Amrish always engages his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of the Lord, his words in describing glories of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temples, Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavan. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of Tulsi offered to the Lord. And he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasad. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, all his desires in serving the Lord, 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaj Amrish never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service, in various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely freed from all material desires. So we want to be free from material desires, but we can't do it independently. The way to overcome material desires is to enrich ourselves with love for Krishna. The more love for Krishna we will have, automatically all undesirable things will go away from the heart. कृष्ण है सूर्य सम माया है अंधकार जहां कृष्ण तहां नहीं माया अंधकार. If you want to dissipate the darkness, the simple method is you lit up the light. If the room is enlightened, automatically the darkness will be moved. In the same way, if we really want to remove all anarthas, we have to invoke that service attitude, like Ambrish Maharaj had developed, engaging all senses in Krishna's service. And when one can do that, very important, it's not on our own, it's not possible to do it independently. But the next verse is very, very important. How one can engage one's senses in Krishna's service, how one can get completely purified, how one receives the taste to serve Krishna. Evam sada karma kalapamatmana pare dhiyange bhagavati yadukshaje sarvatma bhavam vidadhan mahim imam tannishtha viprabhihita sahasracha. In performing his prescribed duties as king, Maharaj Ambrish always offered the results of his royal activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, who is the enjoyer of everything and is beyond the perception of material senses. So Ambrish Maharaj offered everything to Krishna, but how? He certainly took advice from Brahmanas who were faithful devotees of the Lord, and thus he ruled the planet Earth without difficulty. Very important point. He took guidance. He took that humility. He carried that humility to take that guidance. And when he took that guidance, then he never went wrong. That is the process. Greatest vice is not to take advice. And greatest vice is to always take advice. It's just difference of V and W. Greatest vice. The darkest day of our spiritual life will be when we will stop taking advice from any devotee. And those devotees who are under guidance of the spiritual masters, under guidance of the senior devotees, they can never go wrong. It takes intelligence to understand that we need help. Arrogance will not allow us to take help. Like one time Srila Prabhupada was sitting with his disciples, and Srila Prabhupada said, "You all are fools." And then one disciple raised his hand and said, "Yes, Prabhupada, I am fool." Prabhupada said, "Except you, everyone else is fool. Because you accepted you are fool, you are intelligent. You can receive help." So we have to depend on the mercy of devotees. Even somebody like Ambrish Maharaj, who was the unchallenged king of the entire planet, had humility to take guidance from the devotees. He had humility to take help of the devotees. And therefore, not only he could practice spiritual life himself, but he had amazing influence on his entire kingdom. He was not only practicing spiritual life for his own self, but his entire kingdom became devotees. That means, what was his kingdom? His kingdom was the entire planet. So all over the world, people were practicing Krishna consciousness. Sargona prarthito yasya manujair amara priya shrinvadbhir upagayadbhir uttama shloka cheshtitam. The citizens of the state of Maharaj Amrish were accustomed to chanting and hearing about the glorious activities of the personality of Godhead. Thus, they never aspired to be elevated to the heavenly planets, which are extremely dear even to the demigods. So, look at the effect of Amrish Maharaj's leadership. He was so absorbed in Krishna's service himself that his influence, Jad Jad Acharati Srishta, his influence led a perfect example for a whole community to follow. And they were so self-content, they were so self-satisfied in practice of their devotional service that they were not very keen to even go to heavenly planets. It doesn't matter. Wherever a devotee stays, he is always surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Hindi, we say, Jahe vidhi rakhe Ram, tahi vidhi rahiye. Wherever Lord wants to keep his devotees live very nicely. There are three types of devotees described by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The first category of devotees are Swanishtha Bhaktas. Swanishtha Bhaktas means those who want to practice Krishna consciousness, but they also want sense gratification side by side. They are mixed devotees. They want material enjoyment also. Demigods fall into that category. They want to be good boys in front of good boys and girls in front of the Supreme Lord, but they also want their sense gratification. They also want to stay in heaven, drinking somras and looking at the dance of apsaras. So Anishta Bhaktas. But then the second category is Parinishtita Bhaktas. These Parinishtita Bhaktas are, they want to practice spiritual life, they want to take shelter of the Supreme Lord and get liberated from the clutches of material world. They don't want to stay in this material world. They realize this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This world is not going to give any pleasure. They want to leave this world and go back to the spiritual reality. Parinishtita Bhaktas. But there is third category, which is called Nirapeksha Bhaktas. Nirapeksha Bhaktas are those who don't have any preference. Nira apeksha. Apeksha means expectation. They don't have any expectation from the Lord. Krishna, you want me to stay in this world? I will stay in this world. Krishna, you want me to be in the spiritual world? I can go to the spiritual world. Krishna, you want me to go to hell? I'm ready to go to hell. That is Nirapeksha devotee. That is pure devotee. He is ready to do everything for Lord's service. We see example of Srila Prabhupada. Lord arranged that Srila Prabhupada had to leave his home. He left his home. The Lord inspired Prabhupada to take sannyas. He took sannyas. Lord arranged him to live in Radha Damodar temple. He stayed with gratitude in Radha Damodar temple. And when Lord arranged him to go to America, he went to America. A soft-hearted Vaishnava like Srila Prabhupada was living in the community of hippies. And when these hippies, these boys would come, they would stay with Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada had to share his bathroom with them. Prabhupada would have to stay in queue to use his own bathroom because the boys from his preaching were staying with him. And sometimes when these boys would take bath, they would ask Prabhupada, Swamiji, you have towel? We are not carrying any towel. Prabhupada shared his towel with them. Prabhupada would cook for them. Prabhupada would clean their mess. Prabhupada would clean their remnants. Prabhupada would clean their plates. So he was happy in Radha Damodar and he was happy between the hippies. That is a devotee. Nirapeksha. My dear Lord, for your service, I am ready to take any tribulation. And that is devotion to Krishna. Devotion to Krishna doesn't mean sitting in a corner and just crying for Lord. Yes, that is an exalted position, but that is not pure love. That may not be pure love. Prabhupada says in Nectar of Instruction, devotional service is not imaginative ecstasy, but it is practical activity. Love is displayed in one's service. How much one is serving Lord, that is love. Srila Prabhupada one time was sitting in 22nd Avenue, and Brahmananda Prabhu came to Srila Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, you want us to distribute these Back to Godhead magazines. Nobody want to staple them. We printed them, but nobody want to staple. Imagine, Prabhupada, if nobody want to staple them, who would go out and distribute this Back to Godhead magazine? Prabhupada said, oh, nobody want to staple them? You never asked me. I am ready to staple them. And founder Acharya, the world leader, the Jagat Guru, sat there on the floor and took one by one these Back to Godhead magazines, started stapling them. He said, I am ready to serve. This is love. He loved his spiritual master. He loved Krishna. And that reflected in his dealings. So Amrish Maharaj was a devotee like that. He was completely detached from anything of this world because he was completely attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let us see one more verse. Let's go to text 27. How his attachment to Krishna grew so deep that all other attachments became insignificant. Griheshu dareshu suteshu bandhushu dvipottamasyanandana vyajivatsvastasu akshaya ratnabharanambaradishu ananta kosheshu akroda sanmatim. Maharaj Amrish gave up all attachment to household affairs, wives, children, friends, and relatives, to the best of powerful elephants, to beautiful chariots, carts, horses, inaccessible jewels, to ornaments, garments, and treasury. He gave up attachment to all of them, regarding them as temporary and material. When a person gives up something, when he receives something higher, param drishta nivartate. Amrish Maharaj gave up all attachment to other things because he was relishing unending bliss in his heart due to devotion to Krishna. That is true renunciation. Qualities don't attract Krishna, love attracts Krishna. So all these qualities of Amrish Maharaj were naturally manifest because of his devotion to Krishna. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair guna tatra samasate suraha. When one practices pure devotional service, all the good qualities of even demigods get naturally manifest, spontaneously manifest in the character of a devotee. And these qualities are the ornaments of a devotee. Like when one wears ornaments, he looks more beautiful. In the same way, these Vaishnav qualities make devotees more beautiful. Sadhu Bhushana, Sadhava, Sadhu Bhushana. So these are the ornaments of a devotee. So we learned from Amrish Maharaj's example. There are so many other qualities Sukadeva Goswami speaks, but just taking a few drops from the ocean of these qualities of Amrish Maharaj, we learn how devotional service makes the life so beautiful. Without devotional service, it's like decorating a dead body. But with devotional service, it's like decorating a living body. And when one decorates this body, Krishna becomes attracted and Krishna takes that devotee with him. Krishna is very eager to take the devotee back. There is this example of Gop Kumar in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where this Gop Kumar travels from so many planet to planet. He travels from Bhumandal to heaven, heaven to Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Brahmaloka, to Brahma Jyoti, to coverings of this shell of universe, to Vaikuntha, to Dwarka, Ayodhya, so many places he traveled. And ultimately, when he reaches Golok Vrindavan, Krishna, along with his Gopa friends, he went to the entrance of Golok Vrindavan to welcome Gopkumar. And everybody's so excited. Krishna, who is coming? Krishna says, my old friend is coming back. And Krishna welcomes Gopkumar by embrace. They both cry. Krishna and Gopkumar both cry. And then Gopkumar faints. Krishna also faints. They both fainted. After some time, when Krishna got back to external consciousness, of course, there is no difference between Lord's external or internal, but when he was doing the pastime, and Gopkumar also came to external senses. Gopkumar asked Krishna, Krishna, I am crying, I am being emotional because I was away from you for so long. Why are you crying? Krishna said, I am remembering all the sacrifices which you did for me. I am remembering all the difficult times you underwent for coming back to me. And therefore, I am crying. Lord is so eager to receive his devotees. We just have to become more and more committed to our spiritual practice. Yes, by our endeavor, we cannot get devotional service. But when Lord see that we are serious and sincere, Lord awards us that devotional service. Imagine a child trying to reach out something which is kept on a higher place. He may jump 1,000 times. He cannot achieve it by his own endeavor. But when mother sees the child is trying so hard to get that object, mother takes it from that place and give it into the hand of the child. In the same way, we have to just endeavor that, my Lord, I also want to develop genuine humility. I want to also develop tolerance. I also want to develop qualities like Amrish Maharaj. I also want to engage my mind in your service. I also want to engage all my senses in your service. I also want to help my spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada in their service to you. And when we show this sincerity through our actions, through our consciousness, Krishna awards pure devotional service to us, like he did to Amrish Maharaj. And then any challenge come in our life, Krishna is right there to protect us, like he did in Amrish Maharaj's case. The challenge came, but he has no worries because he knew, Mare Krishna rakhe ke, rakhe Krishna mare ke. Krishna is there to help me. Krishna is there to protect me. Why I have to wonder? Why I have to help myself? When Lord released Sudarshan Chakra, Durvasa Muni had a nice world tour, actually universe tour. He went to all different planetary systems, and the Sudarshan Chakra was chasing him. On the other hand, when Durvasa released that demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj, he didn't move even an inch from his place. He had so much faith in the Supreme Lord that I have surrendered myself to the Supreme Lord, my Lord will protect me. If he wants to kill me, what I have to worry about? Because ultimately he will carry me forward in my journey back to him. So this is the wonderful example of Amrish Maharaj. We could just touch a few of his wonderful qualities, and we encourage devotees to study this Srimad Bhagavatam again and again. Srila Prabhupada's biggest gift to this world is his purports of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's a very nice endeavor by ISKCON Bhagavat Mahavidyalaya that every day devotees are getting opportunity to get that taste in studying Srimad Bhagavatam. These sessions are meant just to develop our taste in Srimad Bhagavatam. And if we read on our own pace every day, Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya, we can actually drown in the nectar of ocean of nectar which Srila Prabhupada created for us. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this very, very absorbing class with relevant examples and going through these verses in Srimad Bhagavatam that describe the qualities of Ambarish Maharaj. Very, very grateful. Dear devotees, Prabhuji, if you have time, can we open up the forum for question and answers?
Yes, we can.
Dear devotees, if you have any questions or any realizations you would like to share, please go ahead. You can use the raise hand feature in Zoom and we can unmute you. Looks like there
Hare
are no questions. Everyone has understood everything.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Rachna Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Could you
Hare
just say
Krishna.
something about Yukta Vairagya again, maybe? Just a little bit, something about Yukta Vairagya. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. You see, when we talk about renunciation, we talk about giving up something which we belong, which we own. Now, if we look at it, we don't own anything anyway. Ishavashyam idam sarvam. Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. So how we can renunciate something? How we can renounce something when we don't own everything? Like people sometimes say, "Oh, he's very renunciate. He left everything." But can he stop breathing? Air belongs to the Supreme Lord. Can he stop eating? Eating the food belongs to the Supreme Lord. Can he give up his body? Body belongs to the Supreme Lord. His own self, the soul, belongs to the Supreme Lord. So if everything belongs to the Supreme Lord, how can we renounce anything? Like suppose I don't own something, how can I say that I renounced it? So what is the renunciation then? Renunciation is if we engage that object back into the service of the owner. Prabhupada gives this simple example. If you're walking on the street and you see some money, what you will do? A karmi would just pick it up and engage in his sense gratification. A jnani will just leave it as it is. Oh, let it be. But a devotee will pick it up, realizing that yes, whom it belongs, let me give it back to him. That is a devotee. So, Yukta Vairagya means we realize everything belongs to Krishna. Even our own selves, my own family, my own home, my property, everything, it belongs to Krishna. So let me engage it in Krishna's service. Keeping Krishna in center, we live our lives. Best example is Arjun and Duryodhan. Duryodhan is fighting the battle. Arjun is also fighting the battle. But Duryodhan is under the clutches of karma, wherever Arjun is doing devotional service. Because he is fighting for Krishna's sake. Duryodhan is fighting for his own sense gratification. So that is the difference. Yukta Vairagya means, Yukta word means to engage or to connect. And Vairagya means renunciation. So best renunciation is to engage everything in Krishna's service. And this principle has been taught by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. He said, the Yuga Dharma of this age is Sankirtan. Sankirtan means glorifying Lord with everything possible. With devotees, with different paraphernalia, when we glorify Lord, that is Sankirtan. So when we engage everything in Krishna's service to glorify Him, that is Yukta Vairagya. That is the best aspect of Yukta Vairagya.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Yes, Shyam Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. So I have one question regarding this. So most of these stories where devotee is been some kind of difficulties. So the opposite person is also very elevated or very strong, right? Powerful. Like in the case of Ambarisa Maharaj, Durvasa. So is this a particular arrangement of Krishna so that we will understand and we will get some benefit out of that Leela or pastime, or is there any other way we need to look at that?
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhu. See, Lord's pastimes, they are like a drama. Now, drama has two aspects. One is entertainment and one is education. Now, when we plan this drama, we don't just pick up random people from the street. We take our own people, our own friends and relatives, we practice together for some time, and then we display any drama because it has a purpose. It has a purpose to entertain people, of course, and give a message also, to educate people also. So in the same way, Lord's pastimes are also for educating his devotees. Of course, there is churning of emotions and that aspect is there, but for sadhakas, there are so many teachings in Lord's pastimes. So now when Lord has to do this pastime, the drama, he won't pick up anybody. So to establish any principles, he picks up his chosen devotees, and then he does that drama to teach us certain principles. Like Arjun is crying in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Is really Arjun getting illusion? No. He's doing that acting, he's enacting that drama, he's enacting that role in the drama to teach us that if Arjun can get bewildered and if Arjun needs help, why I don't need help? In the same way, we see Parikshit Maharaj putting dead snake in the neck of Samik Rishi. It's a pastime. Lord is using his own pure devotee to give us a lesson that if you offend a Vaishnava, this is going to happen. And you should have humility to accept the correction, like Parikshit Maharaj accepted the curse. Like that, Bhishma Pitama is fighting by the Kauravas. Lord is teaching that no matter how much virtuous you are, no matter how much powerful you are, no matter how much big celibate you are, if you are on the side of adharma, you will get finished. So Lord is using his own devotees to teach us these principles. So yes, that is the purpose behind all these exalted personalities making mistakes. Lord is teaching through them that even great personalities can make mistakes. Then what to speak about the ordinary living entities? Okay.
Thank you, Rob. So there is one thing about this. So I also direct drama for our temple. So thank you for using that example.
Thank you.
But there is one
Correct.
more thing. So now, if this is the case, right? So this this drama party should be going
Yes.
in this universe. There are so many universes, millions of them, and there is some place there is Dwapar Yuga, right, ending, and Kali Yuga starting. So is it that the Krishna sent this drama party to all those planets and then it is continuously happening there, or what is like? It is like, so does Krishna go back to the Vaikuntha, the Arjuna go back to the Vaikuntha Loka, or he's just going on to this drama party and doing his pastime?
So it depends, because it's not that every Dwapar Yuga Lord is performing his Leela. Krishna comes to this world only once in a day of Brahma, once in 1,000 cycles of Chatur Yugas. Similarly, Lord Ram also comes once in one day of Brahma. So like that, it's not that every Dwapar Yuga these pastimes happen. Another thing is, in Krishna Samhita, it is described that when Lord does these pastimes, it's not necessarily same jiva enacts a particular role. The different roles, different details in different pastimes. For example, Krishna in this particular kalpa went to Mathura with Akruda, right? Akruda took Krishna on chariot to Mathura. But in next kalpa, our acharyas tell Krishna will go through the route of Yamuna and Kaliya will carry Krishna to Mathura. So Krishna changes roles. It's not that all the time the same roles. Krishna changes some details time to time and give the message. The message is always same, but he may change some details. Like Varahadev, he comes as Shvetavara, Raktavara, at red boar incarnation, white boar incarnation. So there are some changes in details. So if Arjuna is there or not, it depends on Krishna's will. Maybe Krishna took him back, or Krishna is making him to serve somewhere in his pastime. It's up to Krishna. See, for devotee, it doesn't make difference. He's serving Krishna in this world, he's serving Krishna in the spiritual world. So it doesn't make any difference. Okay.
Very well. Thank you.
Rani Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, very beautiful session. Prabhuji, if I can ask two questions. Prabhuji, which books would you recommend reading after Srimad Bhagavatam? In the order of this thing, what would you advise? Like, basically, please advise from your own this thing. And the other thing would be, who do you hear, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada recommended the devotees study Srimad Bhagavad Gita first. And of course, the other prominent books like Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Ishopanishad, we read those books. And Srila Prabhupada said, then you can read Srimad Bhagavatam after Bhagavad Gita. And after Bhagavatam, you can read Chaitanya Charitamrita. So they are in sequel, because Bhagavad Gita ends with surrender. Bhagavad Gita ends with the message of surrender. And Srimad Bhagavatam starts with surrender. And then Srimad Bhagavatam ends on holy name. And Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita starts with holy name. So they are sequel books to each other. So after Srimad Bhagavatam, one can study Chaitanya Charitamrita. But devotees study them again and again. It's not that once we read, it's okay. I was hearing to Swayam Bhagavan Kishore Maharaj, and he was saying that when he read third time Srimad Bhagavatam, then he realized that, oh, I am understanding little by little. Otherwise, first 2 times it was so difficult. So like that, we read the scriptures again and again. But general order, which was recommended by Srila Prabhupada is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. About hearing, I personally try to hear my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. And along with that, our all local devotees, because Srila Prabhupada wanted the devotees should hear realization of their fellow devotees. That is the reason Srila Prabhupada started everyday Bhagavatam class in temples. Otherwise, Prabhupada would have just made a rule that, okay, every temple, you read my purports, that's all. No. But Prabhupada trained his devotees to give classes, so that in each temple, devotees get opportunity to hear from their fellow devotees about their realizations in Krishna consciousness. So we should also hear the realization of other spiritual masters, of different senior devotees, and also our fellow devotees, because it gives different aspects to Krishna consciousness. But of course, we should have inspirations, and a couple of devotees, if we hear regularly, that sets the mood to study Srimad Bhagavatam.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just follow up on the question. We have to read the books consistently and again and again. But after Chaitanya Charitamrita, which one would you recommend starting? Like Chaitanya Bhagavat, or what would normally be Brihad Bhagavatam, or among the various books, what would you?
Devotees can read other books. There is no harm in it. But first of all, we should have proper understanding of Srila Prabhupada's books. So if one has read all Srila Prabhupada books, cover to cover, then he may attempt to study other books. Like as you said, Chaitanya Bhagavat or Ved Bhagavatamrita, there are other books also. But first of all, we should study all Srila Prabhupada books cover to cover. Why I'm saying that? Because we are falling in the parampara of Srila Prabhupada. We should know the mood of our founder Acharya. And if once we know the mood of our founder Acharya, then if we read other books, then we know how to understand them in light of Srila Prabhupada's expectation. But if prematurely we study other books, then it will be a problem. So after Chaitanya Charitamrita, yes, devotees can read other books, which are recommended by other senior devotees. Like in ISKCON, we have Brihad Bhagavatamrita already translated, Chaitanya Bhagavat already translated. There are different other books of Goswamis which are already translated. So devotees may attempt to study, but with caution that they have completed all Srila Prabhupada books cover to cover, and also under guidance of senior devotees. Because if we get confused, then senior devotees can help us to understand those books.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, dear
Hare
devotees.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your valuable association, and thank you all the devotees for your time.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
And
Hare
please
Krishna.
every day. So please join us at the same time tomorrow for the next
Hare
session.
Krishna.
Hare
Bye.
Krishna.
Are you going to sing the Hare Krishna mantra or no? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram 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 Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna,
Actually, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Paapnebhyo, Vaishnavyo, Namo Namaha.
तीतानां
Prabhupada
पावनेभ्यो
ki jai.
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
All
Hare
glories to all the children.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Kishore Prabhuji ki jai.
हरे कृष्ण